What's up everyone, Andrew here with the Lake team in Houston, Texas. Welcome back to another fantastic video that we have for you guys today. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And we try to produce the best real estate content for you guys each and every single week. And with that being said, we're gonna move straight into today's topic, which is how to prep the interior of your house to make buyers fall in love with it. All right, so we have quite a bit to talk about today, and the first thing that we're gonna say is perform any deferred maintenance now. Go ahead and get all that stuff knocked out. Any deferred maintenance that you've been putting off. For example, let's say you need to change out your air filter. Let's say you needed to paint a room because maybe you replaced, you had a drywall patch to do and you never painted it. Or you need to repaint the room regardless, whatever the case is. Those types of little small knick-knack items. Maybe there's just some, I don't know, it's just maybe a tub or a faucet is missing one of those little stoppers or something. All those little knickknacks add up. Trust me, they do. And buyers see it and they get annoyed by it. And they're so cost effective. I mean, they don't cost much to do, right? They really don't cost much to do, and you can do it on a weekend and get it over with. But go ahead and perform any deferred maintenance now and get it out the way. The next thing we're going to talk about is fresh paint. I can't tell you how much this actually goes. Just freshening up a room, that new paint smell, right? The freshening up a room goes a very long way with home buyers. Everyone loves that new feeling, that new smell, right? And when there's a fresh coat of paint, people notice it, people realize it, people can smell it, and it is something about fresh paint that spruces up the place, especially if you have very, very bold colors, right? If you have bold colors throughout the house, I'm gonna say all rooms are red and green and blue and pink, right? You want to go ahead, it's a very personable color, and while you might like it, it's not very practical when it comes to sell, and when it's not easy to show those types of homes from a buyer's perspective, right? So my suggestion would be to go ahead and buy some neutral tone-based kind of paint, and whether it's a gray or a creamish white, something that's a very neutral color, go ahead and paint it and get that out of the way. That way, you're not limiting your pool of buyers, basically, right? You're not gonna limit your pool of buyers, and you're gonna attract pretty much all the people, all of them. Next up, we're going to talk about the decluttering process, and what this means is you are going to remove a bunch of personal items in the house. When it comes to family photos and picture frames, kids' toys, bookshelves, maybe some countertop appliances in your kitchen, all that good stuff. We're going to declutter all of it and get it all out of the way. And not a famous quote, but it's one thing that a stager told me a while back, early on in my career, has always stuck with me, and I always tell my clients this: when you're decluttering, remember this one saying: less equals more, meaning that the less you have out, the more the buyers are going to love your house, and it just feels more inviting, right? It does better for you. Another thing when it comes to decor, right? When it comes to decor, you want to limit the amount of decor that you guys have. Yes, it's pretty, yes, it's beautiful, but you don't want to over cluster a room. You don't want to have too much to where it just feels cluttered around there, right? But I'm not saying just remove all of your decor, but some people go pretty crazy with it. Like, they'll have ginormous cross walls. They'll have all kinds of decor on the walls when it comes to art. The less equals more in this particular case as well. So I wouldn't completely remove all of the decor, but if you think you've overdid it, go ahead and minimize the amount of decor that's around the house and on the walls. Next up, which a lot of people don't really think about too much, but you want to organize your pantry, your closets, and all of your bookshelves. It just looks clean, it looks crisp, it looks like you've taken care of the house. I'm not saying you haven't, but it looks like you've been taking care of the house and you're a very organized person. So just think of yourself as a buyer. You're walking into somebody's house and you see all their bookshelves look so nice, everything's organized, everything's put in its little place, everything has its own little home, right? And you go in the pantry, all their stuff is organized and just beautifully laid out. That's the kind of picture you want to paint for the buyer when you're on the selling side. So I would suggest, if you want to, go to like the Container Store, pick up some stuff. Maybe you want to organize things a little bit. If you don't want to spend any money on organizing, that's totally fine too. Just make sure things are, instead of buying containers, make sure things are organized and picked up, rather than just stuff thrown all over the place in the pantry, where it just looks cluttery and messy. And the same thing with bookshelves. I would get books, put put your bookshelves together, and don't have any clutter laying around on top of it, things of that nature. Next up, this is a very big one here, is clean, right? Buyers love a clean house. You should too, you live in it, but I understand, as if we have a 2-year-old and one on the way, that it is very difficult to keep a house clean, especially when your 2-year-old runs around and throws all his toys all over the place and just loves to get in his toy box and throw them all over the living room floor. Right, we understand that not everybody can keep their house clean 24/7. In this particular case, there's a couple things that you can do if you do have little kiddos running around. You can go ahead and clean your toilets, right? Get those toilets clean, get the bathrooms clean, the showers, the carpets. You can start shampooing those carpets if you have any. If you have tile, you can start mopping. If you have hardwood floors or just tile, whatever it is. But you can start cleaning those floors. You can start getting that to where it's nice and shiny looking again, and overall, it does have a good smell to it too when you're cleaning, right? Everyone loves a clean house, especially when you walk in. Just try to clean as much as you possibly can. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but just know that a clean house, that feeling when you walk into a clean house, it just feels so good. Also, if you have absolutely no time to clean the house and you just like, there's just no way I can get to it, that's okay too. You can hire this thing out. They have cleaning companies out there, right? You can spend the $200, $300 and they'll come and just do the entire house for you. That I don't think they're gonna do any kind of carpet shampooing or anything of that nature. But when it comes to making sure your house is spick and span, toilets, bathrooms, all that good stuff, right? Kitchens, floors, they'll mop and all that, but when it comes to the carpet shampooing, they're not gonna go all out in that regard. But if you have no time, it's probably best to spend the $200, $300 to get it cleaned. All right, so this next one is a little trick to the trade, especially we love to do, even our personal homes, we love to do it, right? But a little trick to the trade is air fresheners. Air fresheners all throughout the house, right? It'll make your house smell so good. Those fresh aromas are gonna be coming out. It's gonna smell amazing. Wall outlets do a lot, right? So the wall outlets you can buy, if you don't have any kiddos running around, they're gonna unplug them and pour all the stuff out or try to eat it or whatever. But if you don't have any kiddos, that may be the direction you want to go. If you do have some kiddos, maybe it'd be best to put some diffusers throughout the house. Maybe one in the living room, maybe one in your bedroom. If you have a 2-story, maybe you want to put one upstairs. Whatever your case is, just figure out what works for you. Regardless, air fresheners throughout the house goes a very long way. Next up, we have staging. So staging is a very important one here, and there's a few different options that are available to you. If the house is vacant and you are not living in it, you have 2 options. One, you can do actual real staging with a stager. They'll come out and you have to pay for that. It can be quite expensive. Sometimes you're looking, depending on the size of the house, but on average you're looking anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 for roughly, I think, about 90 to 100 days. So bear that in mind. A cheaper option is to do virtual staging. Now, virtual staging does great for online traffic, but when buyers actually get to your house, none of that furniture is going to be there, and it could be somewhat of a letdown or a disappointment. But nonetheless, at least it did the job of getting them there into the house to physically see it in person, and then they can visualize themselves living there. Now, if you are living in the property, and you have all of your own stuff, right? You have all of your own furniture. Obviously, it's not. You're not gonna hire a stager unless, of course, you just want all your stuff out of the house and you're gonna use the stager stuff. But it's not really practical, right? So ultimately, what you would do is just hire the stager to come out. And actually, we pay for that. We pay for that for our clients. So when you hire us to sell your house, the very next step is, if we feel that it's necessary, we hire one of our stagers to go out there and have a consultation with you. And they're going to walk through the whole house, tell you what you should get rid of, what you should put away, what you should go ahead and start boxing up, maybe move some furniture around, things of that nature. We pay for that kind of stuff for our clients. And so that's the route that's going to end up happening. If you do live in the house, you will have that consultation with a stager, or you can hire your own stager, whatever the case is, and they'll be able to knock that stuff out for you and explain the reason why they think the way that they do. All right, so here's one of the next ones that can actually go with the interior and the exterior, basically the entire house. Right, the entire house is what we call a CPO home, a certified pre-owned home. Right, we stole that from the dealership down the street, certified pre-owned stuff. Right, What's cool about this is, or what actually a certified pre-owned home is, what we, we like to call it. We can advise our clients sometimes, like, hey, it might be beneficial for you if we are in a highly competitive market, or if in the seller's perspective is competitive for you. Maybe the days on the market are pretty long, or things aren't just selling as quickly as they should. What is a CPO? So we hire a inspection company to come out, and they're gonna come out and take a look at your house. They're gonna do a full-on report as if a normal buyer hired them to do an inspection on a property that they're purchasing. And what's cool about this, when you get that report back, you then have the option to say, okay, well, let's just start knocking out some of these repairs. Let's start knocking out some of these items that came back on the inspection report. And then we can advertise that to the buyer, like, hey, this property was inspected by X, Y, and Z company. And here is the full report, and here is what we have completed so far, right? So that reassures the buyer, like, hey, these people are actually pretty serious. There's nothing suspicious going on, right? I know these guys kind of take care of their house. These are all the thoughts that, get rolling into the buyer's mind. Like, hey man, I already got an inspection report right here. They're already knocking all this stuff out for me before I even asked them to do anything. That shows that you're taking the initiative, that you actually care about your property, and that goes a long way with the buyer. All right, guys, well, I hope that video gave you some sort of insight on how to make buyers fall in love with your property and prepping your interior of your house for sale. And that's going to wrap it up for today. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave them in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can reach out to me or somebody on our team directly, and we'll be able to get back to you as quickly as possible. All our contact information you can find us on our website, and I will leave a link in the description below. We try to produce the best real estate content to give out to you guys each and every single week. And whenever you hit the subscribe button and that bell icon, you will be the first to get notified once we do release our videos. So that's it for now. That's it for today. I'm Andrew with the Lake Team here in Houston, Texas, and I'll see you guys next week.